Hi BookTube. I am coming to you from my desk just because I wanted to. Different location, it's fine. So I wanted to tell you about my January TBR and how I'm going to be approaching it this year. There's a few different ways I'm going to go about selecting my TBR. You'll have seen in December I uploaded a video about me redoing my Supernatural TBR game. I am going to play that, but before we get to that game, there are certain books that are set on my TBR. Each month I'll be doing a theme I want to explore through reading, and movies too, and maybe other things in life if it works out. So yeah, for January the theme I decided to go with was solipsism. It's a philosophy that I've been very interested in learning more about. So the first 3 books on my TBR have to do with that theme. And I'm just gonna grab them behind me here. So the major author, philosopher for solipsism is Ludwig Wittgenstein. And I do not think I have the fortitude to read the whole Tractatus Philosophicus, whatever it is called. I can't even remember the name. So I have this. It's like a textbook. This is From Plato to Derrida, and it's a selection of the author's works, and I am going to be reading the section on Ludwig Wittgenstein, which is just back here. So it's handy in that each section has a little introduction, and then it has excerpts from their major work. So this is the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. So yeah, that's what I'll be attempting to read. It is very interestingly formatted. I've read books about it, but I haven't read it. And then it dives into them explaining the philosophy a bit more. So hopefully that will help me understand solipsism a bit more. And then I selected, I'm not entirely sure if this book is fiction, non-fiction. It's everywhere says it's fiction, but it sounds like it also might be non-fiction. So we're gonna have to find that out. This is Solipsist by Henry Rollins, and on the back it says, I saw the word solipsist while reading the dictionary in 1993. I was living in NYC at the time, and the word defined how the city made me feel. So like, that's why I said I don't know if it's fiction or non-fiction. I'm gonna read it to find out, and how could I not with that title? And then from the library, I'm also going to be reading a comic book. So the comic book, I'll put the thing up here. I have it on hold waiting to come in. And that is Here by Richard Maguire. And yeah, it's about being alone. So that'll be interesting. It came up in a search of comic books about solipsism, you know, because that's what I'm relying on for finding resources. I'm going to put my gameplay in here, and you can see how I did. So this is my first run through of this game. We're going to see how it goes. So the first thing I have to do is roll my 4-sided die to determine which character I'm going to use. I do have my laptop up because I have the rules on there to help. So we're just gonna play 3, and that is Cass. Okay, so we have Cass. I don't think I ever played with him in my other game. And his role is that I have to read books outside of my comfort zone. And we're gonna play, I think to finish, but let's try 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is a character card, and our character is Donna, so that's going to be a female author. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a prop, and our prop is the Colt. So I just got to point at a random book on my shelf. You can read that book. Another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Library book. Library book is going to be a 5-star prediction. I think I know what I want to read for that. Then we got a 2, 1, 2. That is another character. And we have Garth, and that is going to be a reread. Interesting. Interesting. Oh. We got a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is another character. And we got Dean, one of the most anticipated books on my shelf. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is a prop, and the prop is the Equalizer. So that will be a random shelf number generator. Keep going. Oh, that is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get a character. Claire, so an LGBTQ plus author. Oh, it bounced off his head. It's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I've landed on the demon trap. And so this means that I have to do something like read a short story or read a poem before I continue on with the game. So I got the collected poems of Robert Service. I don't have to read the whole book, thankfully, because it is a big book. But I'm going to flip to one of his poems and read it. And that is going to be The Ballad of Gumboot Ben. So I'll read that and then continue playing the game again. Interesting. Robert Service writes poems about the Yukon, and particularly the men who go up there to search for gold, prospect for gold. So this poem is about an old prospector telling about his time where he decided that I guessed that all my quest was vanity and greed. So he goes to came to a land I knew no man had ever seen, and there he experiences some interesting things. I like this this quote here. I rose at dawn, I wandered on, 'tis somewhat fine and grand, to be alone and hold your own in God's vast awesome land. Come woe or weal, 'tis fine to feel 100 miles between the trails you dare and pathways where the feet of men have been. I just love the rhythm of Robert Service and the alliteration and the rhyming within the rhymes. He's so wonderful. I love his poetry. So yeah, did my poem. Now we can move on. I'm not going to count that square as a book. I decided that. 3. 1, 2, 3. We got a prop. This is Dean's Amulets. So I got to close my eyes and pick a book. Might be the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish. And we are finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I didn't have to change my character, so all my books are going to have to feature diversity in some way. I'm not complaining. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books on my TBR. Okay, so I did land on the Demon Trap, and I had to read a poem or a short story to be able to move on from that. That's a fun idea, I thought, to put in to get myself to read more poetry and short stories. And it worked. At least this time it did. When I landed on it, I picked up The Ballad of Gumboot Ben by Robert Service, one of my favorite poets. And I may, in the month, dip in and out of more Robert Service to learn more about, or to read more of his poetry. Okay, so I think these are still in order. I don't know for sure, but I had Donna as my first character, and she correlates to a female author because Donna is one of the best female characters in the show. And for that, I got this book, The Way Through the Woods by Long Wit Woon. Another caveat for the game was that I had to play with Cass, and that meant that my books had to be more, they had to reflect diversity more. But there are cases where it's like randomized, where I couldn't exactly do that. I tried to do my best to do that, but when randomizing stuff, it's not always possible. But this one I was able to choose, and this is subtitled On Mushrooms in Mourning, and this is after the death of her husband, she signs up for a course on mushrooms, and I thought that was really interesting. So there's things like charts and stuff in here, cool drawings and doodles of mushrooms, so it'll be really interesting. Okay, and then I got the Colt, and that is for me to just randomly point at a book. I'll admit I did cheat. This is a recent purchase that I really wanted to read, and it was on my couch, and I pointed at it. I want to read it. And that is, thankfully everything's in order back here, Deficiency by S.C. Eston. This is kind of like, this fulfills like a low-key goal that I'm not sure I'm ready to put it on an official goal list, but I am looking forward to reading more. Local author. So this author is from New Brunswick. I believe he actually lives in Fredericton as well. Lives in Fredericton. So yeah, and I believe he's Acadian as well. So like, that's pretty cool. So that's a bit of diversity there. Acadians in New Brunswick, if you look that up. So this is Deficiency. This is a self-published book, science fiction. There's an ideal, they live in this ideal world, but then someone goes missing and someone starts asking questions and things start to fall apart. And I just really liked that there's like different things like computer commands and stuff in here. And the title pages for the chapters seem really cool. There's more examples of computer text and stuff like that. So I love it when books do that. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. They don't have any place to put these books. Will they fit there? Okay. And next up is a library book. And this is Banshee, so 5-star prediction. I don't have the book with me because, again, it is on hold and being transferred to my library so I can pick it up. That is Rosewater by Tay Thompson. And I have a list on my library account of books that I want to read. And so, like, if I want to read a book, I think it's going to be 5 stars. And I think this one is going to be that. At this point, I can't really tell you what Rosewater is about. It's science fiction, which is pretty cool. And Tay Thompson is from Nigeria. So that's pretty cool too. So we'll figure out what the book is about. It's been all over BookTube years ago. And I know it's something I wanted to read. Okay, then we have Garth. And Garth is a reread because Garth is one of my favorite recurring characters on Supernatural. And for that, I chose a book. It's my TBR. I can cheat. A book that I'm already reading. I'm not going to finish it before December ends. And that is The Grey House. This is a reread. This is my second time reading it, and I'm this far in. I think there's like 325 pages left. So, I mean, there's a whole book. There's a whole book left to read. I'm not exactly cheating. But yeah. So this is The Grey House by Mary Petrosian. I've been talking about this book a lot. It's one of my favorite books about disabled kids in boarding school, and it's really uncanny and creepy. Yeah, And so that's what I'll be reading, and it's diverse in that it is translated fiction. Okay. Then I got Dean, and this is one of my most anticipated books on my shelf, and that is exciting. And that book is, if I can reach it properly, The Second Rebel by Lyndon A. Lewis. So it's the second book in the, I believe it's called the First Sister trilogy. Yeah, First Sister trilogy. My brother got me that book a few Christmases ago, and I finally picked up the second book, but I haven't read it yet. So this is a very anticipated book. I keep looking at it on my shelf and saying, I need to get to that. I need to get to that. And the First Sister, I believe we're following 3 different characters. And the First Sister is, she's kind of like a nun. Hesitate to say that, but she's kind of like a nun on the spaceship where people can go and confess to her, and she provides them comfort in varying ways. And then we follow a soldier and their friend. They had been separated and were trying to figure out what's going on there. They were both soldiers, and stuff's been going on in the world. It's a science fiction thing. Science fiction. That's all you need to know. What more do you need to know besides the word science fiction? Okay. Then I got the Equalizer, and I needed to do a random shelf number generator. I can't tell you what the random shelf number was. I didn't write that down, unfortunately, but you're just gonna have to believe me that it correlated to this book. And it actually worked out that it was a diverse book as well. This is Nobody Nowhere by Donna Williams. It's subtitled The Extraordinary Autobiography of an Autistic. So this is her autobiography of a person who, I'm just going to read the back, labeled deaf, retarded, disturbed, insane. Donna Williams lived in a world of her own. And it was not until 25 that she discovered the word autism, and then went on to write her autobiography. So that seems really interesting. And then I got Claire, so this is an LGBTQ plus author. So I organized my book spreadsheet to show me all my authors on my shelf, and I did not know that Tennessee Williams, I believe technically bisexual or homosexual, I don't know, one of those. He's on the spectrum. He's on the rainbow. That's what matters. And this copy, I don't know whose it was, but it's all tabbed and written in, and I have never read A Streetcar Named Desire. So now I have a copy that I can read, and I do love it when copies I buy are like all written in and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's like written everywhere. So yeah, this is a classic play. Yeah, I don't know what it's about. I just know Stella from the movie. That's the right movie, right? I don't know. And the last one was Dean's Amulet. And this is to just close my eyes and pick, and I just kind of went like this on the shelf, and whatever book I ended up pointing at was the book I got. And that was this book, which was actually a birthday book and should have been read in December, but wasn't. So I'll hopefully read it in January. And so this is Only When We Wake by Charlene Coburn, and this also kind of fulfills that goal. Maybe I should make it a solid goal now. I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling. This is also a local author, and this is, she lives in Atlantic Canada. That's good enough for me. And this is like a compendium of stuff. There's some, that's a little, really little doodle, but there's doodles, there's short stories, there's poems, there's a mixture of fiction and essays and all sorts of stuff. It's just, what's it called? Images of days and dreams and otherworldly experiences sparked life through imagination, inspired early by the natural world and the utopias of her youth. So, that sounds quite cool to read. Okay, and then there's more. There's always more. My TBRs just, they balloon. My primary goal in January is usually to read my Christmas presents. None of them made it onto my list, but I do have a pile. That's a whole other pile right there. But I do have another pile of books that I'd like to get to. And these are all books I got for Christmas. So I'm just gonna pull them forward. I'll just start with two. So the first one is Behind the Beautiful Forevers by Catherine Boo. Life, Death and Hope in a Mumbai Undercity. And this is about the city of Anawadi. And I remember reading about that in a book called Capital, and it's a slum city. And it's talking about that. That sounds really quite interesting to me, actually. And then the other book I got is Caucasia, and this is by Danzy Senna. And these are about two sisters. Their father is black and their mother is white, and the parents separate. And the two sisters, one appears more black and the other one is white passing. So kind of like Passing by Nell Larson. I believe Danzy Senna actually wrote one of her theses on passing. But anyways, so the mother takes the more white passing child, and the father takes the more black passing child, and then they try to come back together as adults, try to find each other. So that actually sounds really cool. Yeah, so look at that. And Danzy Senna herself is white passing. Okay. And then this book is really cool. This is Bizarre Romance by Audrey Niffenegger and Eddie Campbell. And so it's partly comics, but there's also like text. And like I was opening it up and there's like some weird stuff going on here. Like, I don't know. There's no, of course when I open it now there's no weird stuff. But like there's a lot of weird pictures going on in here. There's one where there's two humans and their child is a badger. Oh look, there's this weird fox creature wearing a hat. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this is about. It's a collection of short fictions. Yeah, that just seems really interesting. And then I got two comics in the same manga. My brother definitely knows me. Dinosaur Sanctuary, Dinosaur Manga, like, awesome. I'm really excited to reach into these. It's kind of like, he described it as Jurassic Park without the violence. So I got volume 1 and 2 to read, and I'm just really looking forward to that. Let's see if I can get some dinosaurs in there. I absolutely love dinosaurs and I love manga, so what could be better than dinosaurs and manga? It's a lot of books to read, but I don't punish myself or reward myself for reading or not reading according to my TBR. It's just a selection of books to choose from throughout the month. So that is it. Let me know what you'll be reading in January, and thank you for watching.